All right, if you know me, I'm all about creating a sense of belonging in everything that we do as far as education goes. So stay with me. I want to talk about a very important topic, which is everyone really welcome at your school? I want you to think about that. Is everyone really welcome at your school? I mean, we talk about it a lot. We put them on our handbooks, our walls as part of our mission statement, vision statements, all those kind of things, but is everyone really welcome at your school? I'm going to bring up a video of it happened about a month ago, so you might be familiar with it. So I'm going to give you my take on this and, of course, my talking points in regards to the situation. Now, this has happened in Idaho, and I'm bringing up this as an example, as an avatar. This is not me talking about the school district and their policies and everything that they're doing. If you're familiar, about a month ago, a young lady named Sarah had a poster on her wall that said, "Everyone is welcome." And she got a lot of pushback from her district. So without further ado, let's play the video. Fair use.
A West Ada school teacher is being told to remove 2 signs of inclusion from her middle school classroom because the school district says it violates policy. Sarah has taught world civilization to 6th graders at Lewis and Clark Middle School for the past 4 years. And for the past 4 years, Sarah had these signs up in her classroom. One that said, "Everyone in this room is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal," written over the colors of the rainbow. Another that said, "Everyone is welcome here," showing hands of various skin tones, hearts in the palm, those kind of things. Pretty benign signs if you look at them. And before we go any further with this, the sign with the rainbow colors, not the same as an LGBTQ flag, although Sarah says she's very much an ally, she just doesn't advertise it in her classroom. So for 4 years, these signs have survived sans harassment. Nobody said a word about them. That is, until about a month ago.
My building administration came to me during my lunch period and told me that they needed to be taken down by the end of the day. They told me that they were in violation of district policy because in today's political environment, they're considered a personal opinion.
Did they say somebody complained about them?
No. I asked if anyone had complained about them, and they said, "No, we just want to protect you from that if that were to happen."
In this political environment, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, I was told a couple things. That everyone is welcome here is not something that everybody believes. So that's what makes
That's
it
crazy.
a personal opinion.
You were told this, that not everyone believes everyone is welcome.
Right.
Okay. And who told you this? Who was the one saying that not everyone believed this?
My building administration and district personnel.
Face to face, they told you this?
Mm-hmm.
What was your response to that?
Because I was told to take it down by the end of the day, I did so. And the following few days, I just was so unsettled by it. And so I went back into my classroom and put it back up. And I emailed my principal and said, I don't agree. I don't agree that this is a personal opinion. I feel like this is the basis of public education.
And what was the response to that?
They came to talk to me and again asked me to take it down. I said, I'm not interested in taking it down.
That's when the district higher-ups got involved. In an email exchange with Chief Academic Officer Marcus Myers, he highlighted the section of district policy he says Sarah's signs violated, including the advancement of individual beliefs and district facilities should be content neutral. But more specifically, Myers pointed to Idaho Code, the Dignity and Non-Discrimination in Public Education Act, which says district employees and students shall respect the dignity of others and acknowledge the right of others to express differing opinions. And they're saying that putting up a poster that says everyone is welcome is a violation of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everyone is welcome here, especially since the poster emphasizes in regards to skin color with the images of the hands, that is considered something that people have differing views on.
And the differing view would be racist?
I mean, I can't even wrap my head around what other differing view of it would be. I mean, except for something that's exclusionary. So everyone is welcome here really isn't a personal statement. It's non-discrimination. It's verbatim on our Explore Away posters.
That's true. Sarah says these posters, made by the middle school principals and put up in every classroom, lay out what it means to be a Lewis and Clark explorer, welcome others, and embrace diversity. Isn't everyone is welcome here the same thing?
It is welcoming others, and it is embracing diversity. And these are the students that are in our community. I just feel like as a teacher, and I feel like probably a lot of teachers share this sentiment, I would do anything to protect my students. I love all of them unconditionally. We protect them from danger. Quite literally would take a bullet for these students. And
I'm gonna stop it there. Here's the thing, and here's something I don't understand, because the pushback from the district side of things is, well, it's considered an opinion, and not everyone shares that sentiment. So again, the argument is everyone is welcome poster on the wall. So you're telling me that not everyone shares that sentiment, and they're in front of kids? Make that make sense to me. Not everyone shares that opinion. It's a personal opinion that everyone is welcome here. Now, it's sad that we have this political climate where things are, where this is a controversial statement on the wall. It's controversial because I would think, and it's like the young lady said, like in the video, it's like, as teachers, we care about our kids. As teachers, we want to make sure our students feel accepted, supported, and included. The idea of this not being a shared thought or sentiment amongst not just the teachers, but amongst the entire staff of a school, anybody that's an educator, that's in front of kids, to me, that should be a common, like, we shouldn't even have to put the thing on the wall. But it's a great reminder, and it lets students know, hey, I belong. Hey, everyone is welcome. That includes myself. But the fact that a teacher or a staff member or anybody is being asked to remove a sign like that makes no sense to me. On top of that, even their own posters that they've created within their district talk about kindness and embracing diversity. Again, keep in mind, we're in this age right now where the word diversity, equity, and inclusion are under fire. But it's on the poster. But saying everyone is welcome is not acceptable. This is not, like I said before, this is not me attacking the district itself. I'm using this district as an example of when sense of belonging can go wrong. Like, we say it, we have the posters on the wall, we created our slogan, this is our year's motto, our theme for the year, but then our actions do not reflect what we say, or there's pushback in certain areas. Again, not me attacking the district. This is utilizing this case as an example, as a case study, if you will, of sense of belonging and what sense of belonging should look like and what it should not look like. At the end of the day, I want to say this very clear. Sense of belonging is more than a buzzword. It's crazy how acceptance, certain words are always under fire, such as belonging now, but it's more than a buzzword. I'm gonna go back to this picture here because, again, I'm just trying to make someone make sense. It's not okay to say everyone is welcome here. However, bring your attention, this is their own stuff, right? And it says the Explorer Way. Underneath kind, it says welcome others and embrace diversity. See that right there? Welcome others and embrace diversity. Listen to others' perspectives. Invite others into your group. Stand up for others. How is that okay? But everyone is welcome here is not okay. Again, someone please help this make sense to me. Here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think you see all these colors. Oh, LGBTQ. They've already said this is not an LGBTQ thing. However, even though they should be included and welcome as well, right? But I think, and I've said this before, often things come down to semantics. Simple thing, simple term. Comes down to semantics. You say one word, it's okay. You say another word, it's not okay. You see picture of multicolors. You see different colored hands. The trigger starts. Oh, this is opinion. Not everyone shares that sentiment. However, you don't have all those pictures. You don't have multicolored hands. You don't have these things. And just say, be kind and embrace diversity. That's fine. So it made me think, okay, well, what if we just made it black and white? No, the problem with it being black and white is you can still see that there's different colors. So this becomes a racial thing. Now, again, it's not saying race. However, the picture insinuates race. And anytime we talk about race, or now even LGBTQ plus, those things trigger a certain response. I think we can all agree if we didn't have a picture, if we didn't have an image, I think we can all agree that every student that walks through the door, any educator, every student that walks through the door, we want them to feel successful. We want them to achieve. We want them to feel embraced, loved, and welcome. Take out whatever, but I think that's something that we can all agree on. However, when we utilize images that have multiple colors, that appear a certain way, the message gets diluted. And now it becomes a politically charged movement. Who ultimately gets impacted in these type of situations, right? The kids are the ones impacted. Because if we did it like this, I bet you if this was on the wall, wouldn't have been a problem. Crazy thing about this whole thing is she said she had it on for 4 years. It was never an issue for 4 years. But then all of a sudden it's an issue. Now, again, I don't know all the reasoning behind this. I don't know. Again, because to me personally, I would say, well, the argument could be made because you're saying this could be a personal opinion. Everyone's welcome. But then the argument could be made, well, that's a personal opinion to take down the poster. But I digress. Here's the thing. We're in an age where, again, semantics takes over the value of a student. I want to give the simple reminder. Belonging isn't a program or an initiative, but it should be a daily experience. It should not be some sort of add-on. This is something that we do all the time. If you've been following me enough, you know the sense of belonging formula is very simple. In order for someone to have a strong sense of belonging, they must have these three things. They must feel accepted, included, and supported. Cannot have a strong sense of belonging without these three attributes. They must feel accepted, supported, and included. Simple as is. So I want you to think about this for a second. I'm going to pitch a question out to you. Think about the last time you felt like you belonged in a space. And then the next question is, what made the difference? I know I've been one of those individuals who changed schools a few times. And how I felt as an introvert, how I felt entering into a brand new school, not knowing anybody. It's just me. And then I got to make friends because everybody has already been together for years and they all know each other. Parents all hanging out. And here I am, the shy, quiet guy, entering into a new space. And what are those things that really made me feel welcome? You know, one of the things I always could appreciate, I remember when I was in the 7th grade and I went to a new middle school. And I remember we had an assembly and I didn't know anybody. It was just kind of quiet. And I had a student came up to me, a classmate came up to me first day, and they were like, introduce themselves. And I had questions. I was like, tell me about the school. You know, where I came from another school where we had recess. So I was like, wait, why don't I have recess in 7th grade? I didn't know. All right. And so they laughed at me. I remember that conversation. They laughed at me. No, we ain't got no recess here. Man, it's middle school. So I didn't know. I didn't know any better. However, it was good to make friends that very first day of school. Okay. So I'm sure that there's a time in your life when you felt like there were some experiences that were memorable as far as making you feel as if you belong. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some examples. There's so many examples of what belonging could look like. Okay. But I'm only going to give you a few. All right. Just 3 examples of what belonging looks like in school. 1, a feeling of connection. Okay. Students who always show up to class early and lingers after. Think about that kid that hangs out in your classroom during lunch and you're like, oh my God, I need a break. And we say that. And I was one of those people like, man, you know, I look forward to my lunchtime breaks, things kind of like that. But low key, I did like when students will come in and hang out because that meant that there was some sort of connection. Again, we talk about relationships all the time, but those things mean a lot. And that's an example of a student who feels connected. I remember my last school. I mean, we started school at 8, but I mean, we would have kids waiting around the building 7:30, hanging out during lunch. We would close the campus down for an hour. However, students would stick around for that lunch hour. They felt connected. They felt as if they belonged. How about this one? Missed when they're absent. Now, this is a simple thing. Again, these seem like little small things. Like whenever I do a sense of belonging workshop, I always tell people, I was like, here's things you can do tomorrow. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have this extravagant plan, but these are simple things that we can do. A child misses school, they come back the next day or 2 days later, or they've been out for a few days and the teacher calls home. Hey, haven't seen Johnny in a while. Is he okay? Everything all right? One of the things I tell my own son, because sometimes he gets sick, and I tell him, Sheldon, his name is Sheldon. I tell him, SJ, it's your responsibility the next day when you come to school after you're sick. It's your responsibility to go to all your teachers and ask them what did you miss, because he wasn't doing that at first. And this is no shade to his class, his school. I like his school, so I'm not coming at it this way. But what I'm saying is, it means a lot to a student when a teacher comes up to them and says, "Hey, Johnny, you missed school yesterday. I really missed you. How are you? Is everything okay?" Before addressing the missed assignment. Because think about it. If you could just come at a student, you missed class yesterday and we had a big quiz, you got to take this quiz, versus, "Hey, I missed you yesterday, man. I missed your smiley face. You always have something cool to say. And we didn't get that in class yesterday." When we start on the personal side, the human side of things, as opposed to just addressing the schoolwork, it can make such a difference. But sometimes we just go straight into the missed assignment. As teachers, we go into teacher mode. Like, "Oh man, Johnny missed his test. Johnny missed his quiz. Johnny missed whatever it was. Lesson. That's more work that I have to do. I have to reteach now," and forget the human side. And again, this is no shade to people, but this is some things that we unintentionally, I'm going to say we unintentionally do. But imagine being in a school where it's common practice to say, "Hey, student, ex-student, whoever it is, we missed you yesterday." And not just the staff doing it, but even the students, friends come up, "Hey, we missed you." Okay. The next one, authentic representation, such as a student wears their traditional cultural attire on picture day and is celebrated for it. Hang on a second. I mean, the problem with this, there's a caveat here, because that last one here, when I was putting this together, I'm not gonna lie, when I was putting this together, I was like, I don't like the way that sentence reads. I'll read it again. A student wears their traditional cultural attire on picture day and is celebrated for it. I think the challenge that I have with this is the last part, is celebrated for it. Because my thoughts is, could this be an example of how a student might get tokenized? Is this an example of how a student gets put on display? "Oh, look, such and such student is wearing their traditional garb, and now they're looked at a certain way, and everybody's staring at them because yesterday they were just wearing something else. They were wearing traditional clothing, mainstream clothing, and then now they come for picture day, and now we're celebrating." Okay, I'm going to rephrase that last one and simply say, part of sense of belonging is a student feels comfortable wearing their traditional culture attire when? Every day, not just on special occasions, not just on international festival holiday, not on special family night events on a random Tuesday or in the month of December. No, sense of belonging means that a student can be their authentic self, not just on picture day, not just on special holidays, but every day. And they're not stared upon or looked at as different or whatever it is, shunned, ostracized, excluded, or worse, tokenized, or expected to explain themselves and teach everybody about their culture against their will. Now, if a student's willing to do it, that's fine. But when we put them on display and all eyes are on them, best intentions, however, the impact may not be a sense of belonging. Sense of belonging is very important. It's more than just lip service. It's more than buzzwords. At the end of the day, we want our students to feel accepted, supported, and included. Each student that walks in the door, I think we can all agree on that. I think it gets muddy when, for example, we see colors on posters. Oh, the rainbow or multicolored. Anything that insinuates race or sexual orientation, I think misses the mark. And follow me. Let me explain that, because as I'm saying it out loud, I can see how that can get what I'm saying is, the message that I'm trying to bring to you is, sometimes we get hung up on semantics so much or visuals so much. We can all agree that everyone should be welcome at our school, and that we appreciate the differences that each student brings, characteristics, unique language, whatever it is. We can appreciate those things, but the message gets lost when people focus too much on the symbolism behind the message. Everyone is welcome with rainbow colors and multicolored hands. Now it's up for debate for political controversy. that sign had been up for 4 years in that young woman's classroom. But we are in an age where the message gets lost because of symbols, colors, whatever it is. And that's the challenge. So my charge to educators out there, leaders out there, is don't let the message get lost because of symbols, signs, colors, I don't know, fonts. Is that going to be the next thing? A certain font means something. Don't let the message get lost because of things that have nothing to do with the message.